just a single picture on the wall, a piece of landscape photography. The bewitching gleam of sunset playing across a hillside covered in cypress and pine trees, a couple of white houses, a few donkeys with their heads bowed, a column of beehives set on terraces climbing the hill, and a bed of butter-yellow flowers that extended across the bottom until it reached the glittering sea. Far away, a large cliff expanded into the water. Berger thought he recognized Gibraltar. He returned to the book, crouching, scrutinizing the glasses, noting the bookmark protruding from between the thin pages. But he touched nothing.
"Here!"
shouted a muffled voice. Berger stood up and turned round. The older man was watching him from the hallway. His close-cut hair was reminiscent of iron filings around a magnet. His name was August Steen, and he was head of the intelligence unit at the Security Service. Berger and Steen headed towards the voice, passing through the kitchen and into a corridor. Fragments of a conversation were drifting out of one of the far rooms. Berger went in. The submachine guns were slung over the shoulders of the black-clad figures. With a degree of skepticism, Berger contemplated August Steen's external resource duo.
"Flat secured,"
said Roy Gran.
"But this is where she was,"
said Kent Durst, gesturing with his hand towards the obvious soundproofing on the walls of the windowless room. Berger looked around. It was a completely anonymous room, the very opposite of the coziness found beyond its walls. The absence of any trace of chains, leather straps, or drip stands didn't mean that those kinds of things hadn't been present, or that drugs hadn't been used. All that was present was silent emptiness. The living room had had more to say. Berger squatted beside the crumpled sheets on the unmade bed. He looked at the pillow and made out at least 3 long black strands of hair in the slowly gathering dawn light. "Our friend isn't exactly making much attempt to cover his tracks," he said. "Why would he?" said August Steen. "All he needs to conceal is where he's taken her." Berger heard a faint buzzing. He looked up towards the ceiling. A bee flew across the room. The same bee? He followed it through the kitchen and back into the living room. He stopped by the armchair and put on gloves. He moved the spectacles off the book. Then he opened the book to where the bookmark had been left. It was held in place with a clip onto the page. Hamlet, Act 3. The bookmark touched upon the world's most famous literary phrase, "To be or not to be." Berger went over to the photograph on the wall and contemplated it. Saw the sea, the cliff, the flowers. Saw the beehives climbing up the hillside. Saw the beehives. The bee buzzed again. It sounded different. The sound had doubled. Berger looked up. There were 2 of them in the corner of the ceiling now. Did bees hang on until late November? In Sweden? To be or not to be? "He's a beekeeper," said Berger. Kent and Roy looked at him disdainfully, while Steen maintained an air of neutrality.
"What?"
Roy said at last.
"In here?"
"Hardly," said Berger. "It's a trend, isn't it?" said Kent. "Beehives on roofs."
"Bloody hell,"
Roy said. Steen frowned. Then he said, "There are 3 ways up to the roof. The stairwell, the fire stairs, and via the balconies. Gran, can you climb up another 2 stories? Roy glanced at the balcony where 2 ropes were hanging down from the story above. He nodded. "Deuce, take the fire stairs," Steen continued. "Berger, the main stairwell. I'll try to find a view.